I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey. I'm your host, Wayne, joined as always by my partner in crime, Miss Tiffany. What's up, ma'am? How you doing?
Hey, good. A little sore, a little tired, but I'm always happy to be here.
Why are you tired? You've been cutting grass or something?
I know. The stinking grass just keeps growing. You can look at our front yard and our backyard, and it's like the Amazon. And then it's been raining. It's ridiculous.
This might be the last time you have to cut it.
Doubtful.
Really?
Not the way our grass grows. Yeah, not the way our grass grows. And it's only been, it was 74 today. We'll have to do it probably 5,000 more times.
I bet you won't.
Well, I hope the hell not. Not that many times. Not that many times.
All right, let's jump in there, get all of this good stuff up out the way. Everybody, if you have not done so already, ask everyone, please hit that subscribe button. We certainly would appreciate it. Heading in the right direction, adding new subs every day, but we are not where we want to be, so we would appreciate the help. Share it, guys.
And if you guys have had any encounters and would like to be a guest on our show, you can reach out to Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or myself at Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com.
Guys, I want to ask everyone to head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. Check out the website. Pick up some merch. Show some support for all of the other shows. And I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but there is an announcement coming up involving the Paranormal World Productions studio. But yeah, head over there, paranormalworldproductions.com. Check out the other shows, Sasquatch Odyssey, this one, Paranormal Odyssey, True Crime Odyssey, the Basement Hangout, Kentucky X-Files, all that good stuff. Pick up some merch. We would absolutely appreciate that.
And please ask questions. We love questions. We love the engagement of this YouTube community that we have here with this show, but please put them in all capital letters. That way we can grab them.
Very good, very good. And I want to ask everybody to head over to Manimal Research on Facebook, the organization that I founded, started back in 2019, still going strong. If you're not a member over there, we ask that you come over and check us out. We'd love to hear you, love to have you and hear what you have to say, what you've experienced.
And as always, we have partnered with reaperapparelco.com, and we are currently running the promotion. Any purchase made using the promo code Paranormal Odyssey, you will get 10% off of your purchase, and that's anything on their site. So please head over there, support Reaper Dan. He's an amazing guy with an amazing story, and you can save you some money.
Very good. Very good. All right. Got all of that stuff out of the way. Got a couple things we want to talk about before we bring out our guest, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. He is backstage and ready to go. Before we get there, though, I want to announce to everyone tomorrow night. I want to invite everyone to come to Untold Radio. I will be a guest over there, Mr. Doug Highcheck and his son Alex Highcheck. They have asked me to come on. I guess about a month or so ago. We've had it set up, and yeah, I'll be going on with those guys, hanging out, having a really good time. I'm excited about going over there. Doug is someone that I've been excited to meet. Been talking to him a little bit, never like actually had a face to face or anything like that with him. So I'm excited about it. And as I kind of hinted about, and I was talking about the Paranormal World Production Studio, I'm going to be making an announcement tomorrow on that show. So, guys, if you would please tune in over there. Talked to Doug a little while ago. He's getting the promo ready now. He said he'd have it to me in the morning, and I will share that all over Facebook and hopefully see you guys over there. Got some.
It'll be exciting.
What you got, Miss Tiffany? What are you gonna talk about?
Well, the topic of discussion was you this evening.
I
So
like
you just
talking
keep
about
talking. No.
Now,
Vanity.
what is this? Pat here, in all caps. When is Wayne going camping with me? I think, are we still talking about Thanksgiving weekend? I did talk to Brian, Mr. Brian King Sharp, about that. You know, he does have family in the North Georgia area where we're going to be, and he didn't give me a definite, but he thinks it's possible that he might could join us on that camping trip. But yeah, that's Pat. He and I have been talking about putting a little camping trip together here in the fall. So hopefully around Thanksgiving.
That sounds
That would
super
be
fun.
Yeah, but what we were going to talk a little bit about is the membership.
Yes.
You know, we recently launched the YouTube membership, and you know, we've got just a couple of members on there. But guys, want to ask everyone, it's $1.99. I completely did away with the other levels. There's no $4.99 level. There's no $9.99 level. It's just straight $1.99. We're going to give you as much as we possibly can for that $1.99. That's I can't stress it enough. I mean, that's not a lot of money to any
At
of
all.
us. And
Yeah.
if you think about the time that Tiffany and I put into this show, and it's free. It's free to you guys. We've never asked y'all to donate, never asked y'all to give money for anything. I mean, we don't even really get on here and sell stuff. I mean, I've had a couple of things for sale over the last 3 years, but it hasn't been often. But that $1.99 would really, really help us out.
Yes.
What you're going to get some extra shows throughout the month. One thing that I'm excited about is you're going to get one, maybe even we might even do it a couple of times. It's a 30-minute live, members only live with just me and Tiffany. We'll be on here talking about whatever you guys want. Some of the members will bring you guys on so that you can be on with us. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, and I want to build up that community of just members of this show because I just think we'd have a good time on here, and it goes a long way. And Tiffany, I know you got some stuff you want to add.
I was just going to say it would be super fun to do the whole interaction with you guys on the screen with us, and for $1.99, I mean, we cost less than a gallon of gas, even using your Kroger card. So, come on, you want to do it. And when you're a member in the chat, your name is green. So, I mean, there's so many things that we can offer you for this $1.99 a month. And it's like Wayne said, it's nothing. It's nothing. And we do
Yeah.
spend a lot of time getting, all of this together and putting out the good quality content, bringing on a lot of cool people. But it takes money. And the least amount that we have that we could ask is the $1.99.
Yeah, and guys, y'all know I've said it a million times. I hate to ask for money. I really. That's why I don't do it. I don't bug people for money. I can't stand doing it. But sometimes you got to, and it would help. So if you guys could just find it in your hearts to donate that $1.99 per month, we would certainly appreciate it.
Wayne, look, Naoma says, Wayne, I don't know if anyone would be interested, but I'd be willing to donate a free book as a prize for the first 25 members or whatever number you want.
There you go.
That's amazing.
We will take you on that, Naoma. That would be awesome. I'll talk to you after the show and we'll work on the details. But yeah, y'all heard it there. We're going to offer one of her books. I'm sure she'll autograph it for you.
And she's amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome. Naoma's one of my favorite people on this planet.
That's really
all
cool.
Right. We are almost 12 minutes in, and we still have a guest to get to. Guys, as I was saying, got Bigfoot Michigan Rob backstage and ready to go. And like we're about 12 minutes in, not going to waste any more time. Tiffany, if you're ready, I will go ahead and bring him on.
Yeah, let's get him.
Rob, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Wayne. Hey, Tiffany. How's it going?
Hey, good. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. You guys sound a lot like me. On my show, I usually go through before the start of each show, I got about 8 to 10 minutes worth of, promos for a couple of channels I'm involved with, the radio part and all that. And it's always good to do, though, right? Because you got to get your name out there and all your sponsors and what you have going on, throughout the week, the month, the year. So, yeah, that's always important to do because I thought I was like the only one that did that. I said, man, I promote a lot of stuff. So, no, good. I'm glad that, we fit right in.
Yeah, we do it every week.
Yeah, and speaking of grass, I cut mine today, and let me tell you, I've got at least three more cuts left. I mean, it's still in the 80s here, and it's raining tomorrow. Oh, yeah, southern Michigan it's first of all, this has been a real weird summer. It's been cooler than normal. We've had like back-to-back 90, 90, 90, then 70, then rain, rain, rain. And it's been the worst year for me for my garden. It's suffering. But my grass, Tiffany, it don't stop growing. It don't stop growing. It does not. It's as green as it's ever been. I'm pleased to say.
Yes.
Like mine down here is like brown. It's been brown this year. I mean, it more brown than usual. I don't know what it is. Down here in the South, it's just hot as hell.
Well,
I'm in Tennessee. Rob, you're in Michigan, obviously, and
there's a big difference. Probably you guys are always probably 10 degrees hotter, at least probably.
Yeah, and also you mentioned your show, Rob. You are going to be actually going on at 9:00 tonight, and you had a guest planned for that 9:00 hour. Who was that you had planned?
Yeah, I got this guy coming on named Wayne Tutherow, and I've got another guest joining him by the name of Tiffany. So so after this show ends, we got about a 20-minute break in between, and then of course Wayne, if you can make it, I know you got things going on, but it'll be me and Tiffany, and we'll be kicking back and kind of be like a part two. It'll be continuation. I'll be able to kick back and listen after this show because and after I speak for the next 40 minutes or whatever we got left. But so I'm looking forward to that. So thanks for that. It's a double decker, double feature, I guess.
Yeah, it's a double feature. Yeah, you have to bring extra popcorn.
Yeah, extra butter, extra butter.
Yes.
Yeah, Rob and I talked about this about a month ago. We set it up. Neither of us had ever done anything like that and thought it would be really cool. And then
Yeah.
life happens, and my sitter is not going to be able to keep Scarlett for the entire time. If at all possible, I'm going to jump on with you guys,
Oh yeah.
but you'll at least get Tiffany
Oh yeah,
over
that'll
on.
be fine. That'll be great. Yeah, talk about sitting. I'm sitting my niece's dog who's staring at me. So after this show, as I gotta race him home, she's only like 8 minutes away. So, but we got to, no worries. Everything's gonna be work out perfect. And again, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, yeah. We're just going to go ahead and jump into it. But you were telling me about this encounter that you have shared quite a bit, but I've never heard it. Tiffany's never heard it, and we're sure I hadn't heard it. But you said it's kind of what got you started in this whole
Ye-
Bigfoot thing. So if you don't mind, let's hear it.
Okay, yeah, it really does. And again, about a year ago, I said, you know what, I'm done telling my encounter story because it seems like when I mean, that's the only cryptid encounter I've really had was this one, and it really set me for a loop, right? I had suffered from PTSD for a while. I had nowhere to turn, nowhere to go, and I just felt, wow, you can't. What I experienced is so hard to process, right? So, but about a year ago, though, I said, well, BMR, I'm done doing my story, and then I tell you what, a lot of people had said, "No, you gotta keep telling that because A, people haven't heard it, and B, even for people that have heard it, it just resonates with a lot of people." So I decided, well, you know what? I guess you're right. I mean, let's think about it. If you're on YouTube or whatever platform you're on, you always think you're talking to the same audience, but from show to show, platform to platform, it does vary. So, yeah, so I just tell it without second guessing myself, so but yeah, but it's how it started, it's how I started my channel, it's how I wrote a book, because of all this, and, growing up as a kid, I will preface it by saying this, I always believed in the, supernatural or things that are different. I was a different kid growing up. My dad brought me up watching, Lon Chaney, Bela Lugosi, you know, um, Boris Karloff. So right off the bat, I was into monsters. And then I found Leonard Nimoy in search of was Bigfoot. I said, wow, that's pretty cool. And I was a kid when I saw that. And I was immediately really interested in Bigfoot. And of course, back then, I was going to grade school and there's no books on Bigfoot, but I tried my darndest to always try to get information on the subject because I was just so into it. But life goes on, and throughout my entire life, I've had other experiences with the paranormal, ghosts, just really odd things, but not really until 2018. Uh, June 15th of 2018 is when I came across what I call a Bigfoot, and even till this day, you guys, I question even what it was, and as the story unfolds, you'll kind of get a reason why. So, anyways, it's June 15th, 2018. And again, I live in southern Michigan. I'm like maybe an hour from Ohio. And at the time, my girlfriend Cindy, I had surprised her and I took her, I rented a cabin in a small fishing boat in Cadillac, Michigan. Cadillac, Michigan is about 250 miles northwest of here. And it's maybe half an hour from Lake Michigan. And the reason I had surprised her is because Cindy wasn't really much of a outdoors girl, right? And I do like the outdoors. I'm not really a hunter. I do mostly like fishing and I just like exploring and hiking in the woods. This is not her bag at the time. So I'm like, look, let's just do this. And she's like, reluctantly, she agrees. So we head up to Cadillac, Michigan. We get to Cadillac, maybe it's 8, 9 in the morning. It's the middle of the week, like a Wednesday, perhaps. So, not a lot of activity on the lake. I set up, got our little cabin, got the boat. It's like a little skiff, not just a runner to just do some fishing. It's not like a Ranger Bass boat. It's just good enough for two people to troll about the lake. Now, Lake Cadillac, however, and Lake Mitchell, they're connected. Now, Lake Mitchell, Lake Cadillac, excuse me, is a very big lake surrounding this entire expanse of water A lot of beautiful homes, a lot of small business, a lot of shops along the lakes, the shorefront. There's a small industry back in town and a lot of shops. Again, nice, quaint place to visit. In fact, in summertime, a lot of people do go there for a little mini vacation. So this is kind of what this was, a fishing trip, and let's just kick it in Cadillac, so to speak. So we set up everything and we get on Lake Cadillac. I get the boat out. Cindy's in the boat. We got all our gear and off we go. We're out on the water. And for about the first hour or so of fishing, I could tell Cindy's already getting bored because, to be honest with you guys, there's not a bite. We're not getting a nibble. And it's just, for me, it wasn't boring, but for her, there's no action right away. She's getting bored. Not many people on the lake. So I said, well, why don't we just find a different section on this lake? So I take the little boat and I start exploring the lake along with Cindy. Now, unbeknownst to me, there's a channel um, on this lake that connects to another lake. And this lake is now called Lake Mitchell. Lake Mitchell is probably as big as Cadillac, probably not as big, but it's very sizable. And there's not as many homes or business, though, around the lake. And the nice thing about Lake Mitchell is it backs up to the Manistee National Forest. So you have this expansive backdrop of the beautiful, at the time, the beautiful green forest. Not as many homes, not as busy. In fact, it wasn't busy at all. Cadillac wasn't even busy. So I said, okay, nice. Let's drift along the shoreline here, stare into the forest, the woods, and I'm going to set up our tackle, our bait, right? So Cindy's like, okay, cool. So she kind of likes the scenery. So I'm looking down into the boat and I'm configuring the fishing tackle when Cindy says, hey, Rob, I think somebody's throwing rocks at the boat. So I look up, I look to shoreline and I don't see anything there. And I told Cindy, nah, there's nobody's throwing rocks. There's nobody along the shoreline. And then I said, hey, maybe some fish jumping around. So we might finally catch something. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then maybe 90 seconds, 60 seconds later, she's a little more emphatic and says, Rob, there's someone throwing rocks at the boat. As she says, she's seen a rock, boom, drop in front of the boat. Now I look up again. I look to the shoreline again, and now I am like Cindy. I try to explain to her, look at the shoreline. There's not a lot of area for somebody to stand. Now, albeit you guys were about 90 feet from shore. So sure, somebody could probably throw a rock. That's not that great of a distance. It's like running from first base to second base in baseball. But I said, look, there's nobody there. Nobody's there. So I said, hey, I tell you what, let me get back to working on our rod and reel, get our tackle together. I'll join you and we'll both look together. She's like, okay. So I get back at putting the rods, the reels together, blah, blah, blah. For whatever the reason, I look up into the air, the sky, and I see an object falling from the sky. Now, you guys got to remember, too, it's a bright blue sky. The sun was just blazing. And I see this object. I'm thinking, what is that? And as it gets closer to the water, kerplunk, maybe 4 feet in front of us, and it is a rock, maybe the size of a baseball. So I turned to Cindy to kind of apologize and say, man, there is something going on. There's somebody screwing around with us. So I go to look at her, but I got to tell you guys, when I see Cindy, she is asphyxiated, staring at this shoreline. And I never seen her face, the side view of her face, her profile. I can tell she's somewhat scared. And this is, again, as I said, June 15th. She already had a tan going. Cindy was one of these tan worshipers. As soon as it's 68 degrees in May, she's out laying in the sun, right? Her whole body from head to toe was just turned white. It was she lost the entire tan. It was like she looked ghostly, you guys. So I'm like, what in the hell is she looking at? And I looked to the shoreline and they're standing at shore. Had to be about a 9-foot humanoid. Okay. It was an animal. I'm thinking right now, real quickly, you guys, like an animal. It's standing. It's 9 foot tall. It's got reddish brown hair. He had long arms on its side, kind of extended a little past the knees. And the thing about this, and I am 90 feet away, so I get a pretty nice glimpse of this thing. And it's standing there. And this face was human. I said humanoid because it looked like a human, but not, there was something wrong with this creature. First of all, he had this long, beautiful flowing hair. It's not a bear. It's nothing like that. The face was human-like. But the thing about the face is it looked like it had a deformity. It looked, I always describe it as like a person with like Down syndrome. The face was it was kind of gray. It was kind of wrinkled. His eyes were like not they were like kind of offset eyes. And it just had this confused, dumbfounded look. It looked human, but it wasn't human. It's what first thing I'm thinking, right? I'm like, what in the hell is this? Before I can actually process what I'm looking at, it takes his arms, as I said, the arms are on its side, and it raises the arms parallel to the water, extending out again parallel. Now it kind of rolls his head back, and as I explained, this humanoid looking, grayish, Down syndrome looking, kind of wrinkled up, crusty old face, it gets all taut, very tight. The mouth opens, but it's like the jaw extends or gets distended or detached. It drops a good 6.5, 7 inches. And as the jaw drops, you guys, down, it's almost like the whole bottom side of his mouth completely fell down. And it opens his mouth. And it kind of reminds me, if you remember Pac-Man, how the Pac-Man, the circle head with the blah, blah, blah. That's what his mouth was just so and gaping like that. And I do notice 2 teeth, 2 up top. They were kind of like, they look like oversized canines of maybe like a German Shepherd, perhaps. And down at the bottom of the mouth was 2 like incisors, thinner but tightly together, kind of going upwards. So I saw like 4 teeth, and this face just got taut. And what it looked like, you guys, it transformed from that humanoid looking Down syndrome person, humanoid, into what I still today describe as a demon. It looked demonic. It looked like something out of a Marvel comic book. It was frightening. The other thing prior was creepy, but this was frightening. And what's really scary about this is when it drops the jaw, it it kind of leans back, and from its inner sides, it lets out this roar, this howl, this scream, all in unison. It's directed right at Cindy and I. Now we're both standing, and I can literally feel the depth of this roar skid across the lake, and it hits us. I can feel the reverberation, boom, inside my chest, inside my body. In fact, I kind of fall back a little bit, a couple inches. But Cindy, all 5'1", 109 pounds of her, flipped off the boat, and this thing is roaring. Now, I know that I have to get her into the boat, obviously. So I go to turn to my immediate right, because she was to the right of me, to go get her in. But you guys, at this point, there's a reason why I make mention of how, the beautiful green of the forest, the blue sky, the reddish brown hair of the creature, and everything else, is because at this point, you guys, now I'm looking through a filter. My vision is now just disturbed in this fashion where everything is dull looking. I don't want to say like true black and white, but it's very grainy, very dull. It seems like time was even standing still for a moment. And I cannot move to my right because I am paralyzed. Am I stressing out? Am I traumatized? Whatever it is, I don't know, but I can't move to my right. I can't move. And this thing is just yelling. Now I'm starting to now I kind of start shaking my head, like, Rob, snap out of it, Rob, snap out of it. So boom, I snap out of it. All of a sudden, the color comes back. I'm more cognizant now of my surroundings. The color's in. I don't hear this thing no more. I go to my right. I pick up, help get Cindy into the boat. I get her into the boat. Now, kind of as creepy and scary as that is, I for me, I was the most terrified is when I looked to the shoreline. And when I look to the shoreline, this thing is now gone. I look around, there's nobody around. I get to the motor of the boat and I just open it up and I just floored it and I opened up that throttle all the way and skidded all the way across Lake Mitchell. I went through that canal, got on Lake Cadillac, and I beelined it all the way to where I launched the boat. And I'm not paying attention about anything, not looking around. I'm just going because I want to get the heck out of there. I make it to where I launched the boat earlier. I dock it. I get like a beach towel or something to wrap around Cindy because she's like freezing, shivering. And it's probably because she's terrified because, like, at this point, it's maybe 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's maybe 80 degrees. So I get a towel wrapped around her. We get out of the boat. Now, I immediately look for somewhere to sit down. I'm getting out of this little dinky boat. We got to go sit down. And the cottage is a little further away. So the first thing I do, I start walking towards town. Maybe a half block in, there's this bar on the corner. Again, it's maybe 12:20 now in the afternoon. I go into this bar. Thankfully, there's like really nobody in there, maybe a couple customers. We get in and I look to the left, and in the back left of this bar is in the corner is a nice booth for us. The barmaid, young lady, comes up to us, and we're both sitting across from each other now at this point. And the lady, the server, asks us what we're having, right? Now, Cindy, not a drinker. I mean, the years I was dating her, I never seen her drop a beer, a drink, nothing, a beer, whiskey, wine, nothing. She says, I'll have a bottle of Bud Light and a shot of Jack Daniels. I'm like, whoa, this really got to her. Not that it didn't get to me, but for her to order a drink was really something else, not a drinker at all. And I says, the young lady turns to me and I says, yes, I'll, what do you have? And I said, I'm going to have what she had, but make mine a double. She goes back to the bar, get our drinks. So Cindy and I still have not said a word this entire time until we're waiting on our drinks now. And Cindy says to me, hey, honey, what do you think that was? And then I, kind of trying to process this, said, I don't know, honey. What do you think that was? And she says, I think maybe it was that Bigfoot creature. Now, when she said that, also, she never drank before, at least in front of me ever. We never together as a couple talked about like Bigfoot or cryptids. Sure, we might have watched some horror movies and stuff like that, but never the subject of Bigfoot. And she just came up with that. And I'm like, then I say back, I says, honey, I think maybe it was. So we're sitting there now. The lady brings our drinks back. She takes that shot down like a champ, like she's been drinking for 30 years. Bottle Bud Light, washes it down. I do the same. Then she says, should we contact the DNR? Should we call the sheriff? Should we report this? I'm like, really, really, like, report what? What do we actually see? Right? Because we didn't see no bear. We didn't see no wolf. What we saw was not a creature or an animal of the forest that I'm aware of, anyways. She's like, yeah, you're probably right. So it kind of ruined that weekend, or middle of the week, Wednesday. It kind of ruined that. And neither one of us wanted to stick around. So we packed up our stuff and we headed back home. As soon as we get home, we literally immersed ourselves in the subject of like Bigfoot. Right now, we were like, I never used YouTube for anything. I never knew that YouTube even had shows like this. I never knew YouTube. I just used YouTube, man, to watch rock concerts with my buddies, my girlfriends sitting around. Never used it for anything. Not how to fix a flat, nothing. YouTube was not even on my radar. The internet, of course, was. So on YouTube and on the internet, we both on were looking up, Bigfoot, monsters, stuff like that we're typing in. And I was kind of dissatisfied. A lot of the feedback I was getting from YouTube and on the internet. First of all, none of the things that we saw from pictures or images online matched up. There was more demonic looking things what this creature ended up looking like later, more like that. But as far as like the Bigfoot, it didn't look like no Patty. It just was just this unique individual person, right? So we were just immersed in that for some time. So I didn't live with Cindy. She lived with her mom, and her mom never liked me because I was the devil myself because I owned a bar. Her mom calls me August 15th. Well, this is so crazy, you guys. June 15th of 2018, excuse me. I saw that I had that encounter. Cindy and I. August 15th of 2018. Her mom calls me, who hates me, and said, Cindy passed away. Well, I got to tell you guys something. I don't know what I can tell you guys other than this. My world was like smashed, crumbled, right? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Cindy passed away. What do you mean she passed over to? I mean, I can't. I'm not even thinking. She died. Yeah, she says she had a heart attack, this and that, and she's no longer with us. She hangs up the phone on me. That's the last time I talked to her mom because, as I told you guys, the reason why I told you guys she's not a drinker or a smoker, I don't think I told you she's not a smoker, but she didn't smoke either. But, to have a heart attack when you're pretty much in pretty good shape. So anyways, that was my first thing about Bigfoot, some evil, creepy creature. So with that being said, she dies. I go into dark space, you guys. I just didn't know what to do. I was a bar. I owned my own business. It was a bar. I remember talking to my bar manager. I said, "Look, man, here's what you need to do. I don't know when I'm coming back to work. Just take the money at the end of all the shifts and just put it in the bank, deposit it for me. Please don't rip me off. I got something I need to deal with." Okay, Rob, no problem. And I've trusted this guy. He was in business with me for about 5 or 6 years. So, I mean, if I can't trust him, hey, and at this time, you guys, I didn't care. So I start just looking up as much as I can. Now I start getting more involved. I start reaching out to people in the quote unquote Bigfoot community, the paranormal community, all the different communities, whether they were satanic, demonologists, Bigfoot researchers, ghost hunters. I mean, I was calling and trying to get a hold of all these people. Nothing really was doing it for me. Then I did find a couple people, like my buddy Tex, Texas from Porch, who's had some experiences himself. And my main thing is I want to make sure A, I wasn't going crazy. Did I really see what I saw? And B, did it kill my girlfriend? Who did it attribute it? Because I thought when we got hit with that, people now later on, I learned perhaps it was infrasound, but you know what? I know what that is today. I mean, what I went through, I'm not so sure it's got that power. It was more like what I got hit with was like a sonic blast. I always tell people, if you ever see those movies with Hiroshima and they drop the bomb and you see that shock wave kind of emanating out from the from the impact point, and it kind of just has that wave. I didn't see a wave like that, but it's kind of what it felt like, boom, when it hit me. So I'm thinking that maybe her little insides got messed up and it took 2 months for her just to something went wrong. Now, of course, I'll never know that because I tried to get an autopsy report and I tried to get a lot of information regarding her death. But again, we weren't married, we weren't blood relatives. So to this day, that is A mystery. And B, really what I saw I don't want it was something I call it Bigfoot, but just to have that metamorphosis or metamorphoses, however you say it, into one thing to another thing. I have some theories on that today, but it just sent me on this path because now I was lost and alone for like I didn't go back to work for 6 months. 6 months, you guys. And I was in a dark place, seeking answers, not really getting any of them. Then again, I hooked up with my friend Tex, and kind of helped me with a bunch of stuff. He turned me, and I've got a couple of his friends I've spoken with. So that put me down the path. And then somebody says, you got to speak on this. So I did a video on it. The Bigfoot at Michigan Rob channel was born just out of, I didn't know what to do. I made a video. So my name is Rob. I saw Bigfoot. I live in Michigan. So I just made up a handle, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, just to put out the dumb video, right? Because people say you got to speak on this, let people know. Because if people don't know your encounter, there's no way you can get any help. Because the average Joe at the bar, the average Joe at work is not going to help you because they probably A, don't believe it, and B, never had an encounter. So that was in 2018, you guys. And that leads me to starting the channel, writing the book that I put out last August. And I've been doing my show for 2 years, but I've been researching it for the last 5. And like a lot of people, seeking answers, which I'm sure there's such what type of answers are we looking for is a real question, right?
Yeah, before there's a lot to unpack there. But
Yeah.
before we do, I want to ask you this question from Naomi. Well, before that, I want to offer you condolences for the loss of your girlfriend. That story took a turn, man. I wasn't expecting that by any
I
means,
told you,
but
I
I am
told
sorry
you
for
it
your
was
loss.
something. Yeah.
But Naomi Finn is asking, how many encounters have there been in that area? And I'm wondering how many of them describe the creature similar to yours.
Well, in that area, first of all, this is in Wexford. Now, it's Cadillac, Michigan. The county in Michigan is Wexford County. Now, Wexford County is the quote unquote. I mean, I'm just saying this because a lot of people use this they coined this phrase, whether it's true or not, is really like the dog man capital of Wexford County or the state of Michigan. There's been many dog man encounters that I've read about and seen. And I
Well,
think the Wexford County
I
alone, I
think
think is 18 reports. Bigfoot.
Michigan's pretty heavy with Dogman anyway, right, Rob? I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much Dogman
Yeah.
capital.
Michigan's got a lot of dogman encounters and sightings, I should say. And Wexford County is the hub where the majority of them are. And Wexford County was the county that I was in when when I did have the encounter, right? So, and yes, also to answer Neoma, I did start talking. I got it when I did that video 5 years ago. I got an outpouring of people from that Wexford area and Cadillac area. And the man got a hold of me via email because my email is public and says, Rob, I've heard those same, how I explained to you guys, the growl, the grunt, the yell, the scream. He has heard those at night from Lake Mitchell himself throughout for many years. Never seen one, but he says, I know exactly what you're talking about as far as those howls. I've heard them all the time. In fact, this man, because if you look on Google, because you could go to Google Earth and it can show the exact area where I was, and he sent me a map of the area and I confirmed that on the map. So what he did for me, because I've not been back there, okay? I started driving there one night, then turned around because I wasn't just ready. However, I had this experience from the shore, from the body of water, Lake Mitchell. It was actually Mitchell's Bay to be exact, because that's what it's named on the map. But he took my information and he accessed where I was from the road that runs through there. And he went through the road and accessed the forest. And he says, man, after about 50 yards in, though, it got real swampy. And And if he was looking, he was really looking for some evidence, for some tracks or what have you, because now it was more, from my story, it was more pinpointed to where he could look for these howls that he would hear. And in fact, this man lives on Lake Mitchell. Never seen anything, but heard many strange howls at night. And in fact, I've talked to maybe, I don't want to say half a dozen, maybe 3 or 4 other people that I've spoken with over the last 5 years in that vicinity have heard lots of creepy sounds at night that are not natural or nothing, because there's no bear out there, there's no wolves out there. So these sounds are coming from something, right? And nobody can put their finger on it. Now, I do want to go back. I'd love to go back here and just go to that town and just have a town, one of those town meetings, who I'm a nobody, so but like a town hall meeting, and to talk about, has anybody seen Bigfoot out here, Dogman out here, right? That's what I really need to do next, to be honest with you, because this is not done for me. I mean, I'm way better. I'm good today as far as that goes. I'm not in a dark place no more. I mean, I've accepted the fact of that Cindy's passed away. I accept the fact that I saw something that the mind could not process. But when I've heard other people have heard those sounds, and I've seen there's like 19 or 20 reported sightings of Bigfoot in the area, and of course, a lot of dogmen in Wexford County, that is a hot spot. And it's something that in the future, I definitely would like to spend maybe a couple weeks and just hang out there. But, I got things going on here at the house, personal stuff. So it's like when I get time, eventually, I think that's the next step. But again, a long way to answer that question. Yes, some people have heard some strange things out in that area.
So let me ask you a question. This is probably, I always walk on you, Wayne. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's probably way far off in left field, but it's something that just dawned on me. Okay, so I'm thinking and processing the way you describe this creature.
Yes.
And they're both in this area, Bigfoot and Dogman both. What are the chances that maybe they bred together? Like, you always hear of the turf wars, but what if? Because this whole thing is what if. I mean,
I've never thought of that, or had no one's ever brought that up to me except for now. But I will tell you this: I'm open to everything. I mean, I'm an open-minded person, and that to me does not sound far-fetched. I mean, can they reproduce together? If first of all, if they're both flesh and blood, right? If they're, and everyone has varying opinions on if they are mammals, which I don't think they are, but if that was the case, or a humanoid, then yeah, perhaps. But I don't think a humanoid could mate with a dog man, because my opinion of dog man is more of a paranormal thing, to be honest with you.
right.
But then again, it's such another. I mean, we could talk for another 2 hours on the dogman scenario, because I think there's 3 or 4 different types myself. One being paranormal, one being flesh and blood, and with Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Again, it's always hard for me to really say if this was. I've talked to a very good friend that says it was, which I do believe and trust. But to go for that just to physically change itself as drastically as it did. And I did research, like baboons, for example. Baboons are creepy enough to look at, but they have a great way where they're threatened, or if they want to scare somebody, they can contort that face and make it look 100% different as well. I mean, their skin goes back, right? Their teeth get really big compared to the prior look that they'll have upon being scared or frightened, or just wanted to scare somebody or another animal. So, but with that theory, I'm not a person to say yes or no to it. I think that since we don't know much about these things to begin with, and I'm no expert, hell, I've been doing this for 5 years, you guys, and I can't tell you what the hell it is.
Well, I think it's all speculation at the, nobody.
I mean, there's speculation and I mean, everybody's encounter and experience is different, right? So that's what I like about, even doing my show, or doing a book, or doing the book, which is a bunch of different reports and stories I've gotten over the years. There's data points for everything. I'm a big data guy now, and I never was a data guy 5-10 years ago, right? But I like hearing people's encounters, just making and jotting down and plotting what they looked like, what they experienced, what time of day it was. It was it fall, spring, summer. All these things are important. Again, data points that we can just put away, research them, compile these reports, and to make comparative analysis, right? Because a lot of these stories, the one thing I love about this, although everyone's story might be different, I find that 90% of them have a lot of the same, very same commonalities.
Right.
And people, hundreds of thousands of people aren't copying each other. You
No.
know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. Yeah, you know exactly what you're saying. And Tiffany, like you said, it's all speculation at this point. But that's a really good question
I
that
like
you
that
asked.
question, Tiffany. I never thought of that. No one's asked me of that. I've never thought of it myself, and I don't know.
That
That's
could
another.
be what.
I wrote. In fact, I wrote that down. Something else to look into now, right?
Think outside the box.
Well, no, you're right. Hey, in this field, you got to think out of the box. You do.
Yeah, people are always talking about these different types. You know, the top four, the top five variants, and all this stuff. I mean, what if they have bred and created different types? I don't know. Well, first of all, we don't even know what they are to
Yep.
begin with, so I don't know.
Hey, listen. There's Sasquatch that are spiritual and they're people. Ancient people. I believe in that. I also, I believe in the First Nations to see these things as a spirit body. Know that people have seen it as a physical entity that's turned into a spirit body or something quote unquote paranormal. So even with the Sasquatch, Bigfoot, there's a lot. I think there's different degrees, and I also think it's different the way it presents it to certain people. Some people can see things that others cannot. You got to think about that as well. And everyone has different, and everybody processes information differently. You know, and the dog man thing to me is more of a paranormal thing. You got the dog man, which I think is paranormal or supernatural, but I also think there is a actual two-legged hocked animal with a German shepherd's head that walks around that I think is physical. But when you talk about these ones that are 7 foot and they look like a werewolf, that's a whole another creature in my book.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, we're coming up on the hour, but before we get out, Rob, I did want you to spend a little bit of time talking about the appearance of the creature. And one
Yeah.
thing that stuck out to me, and I've heard it so many times before, is that mention of a bit of a Down syndrome
Yeah.
look.
I will tell you this, guys, too, really quickly. Sibylla Irwin, great friend of mine. She does fantastic renditions of Bigfoot, Dogmen, or really whatever you want, but she's a cryptid gal. We completed both renditions of my encounter, which I'm going to be having a show on it here in another month or two, where she's going to be on, and I'm going to present what I saw. Because what she did is 93%, 95% exactly what I saw. So I can't wait to finally show people. Now, yes. Now, with that, to answer your question, the very first image, it looked like again, reddish brown, long flowing hair, beautiful hair, beautiful. Looked like a humanoid, looked like a human, but an odd person. When I say Down syndrome, that face kind of looked like. Let me tell you this: you ever see the Michael Myers mask? How he just has that dumb looking face in the
Right.
Halloween movies?
Mhm.
No expressionless. This thing was expressionless prior to the transformation. Expressionless. The eyes were just kind of crooked. They weren't, they weren't like ours. There was one was higher than the other, one was lower. And yeah, it just had this, and the mouth you could tell was big, although it was shut at the time. You could tell it had this big jaw, and it had like the face was just the skin texture was like just like gravelly, kind of wrinkled, But the eyes and just that look, it had the look that it wasn't alive, you know.
Really?
Just kind of like, because if you think of the Michael Myers mask, that doesn't look alive.
Right.
It just
Wow.
kind of looks like an inanimate object. The thing was more inanimated looking in the face than it was. But I tell you what, when it turned into the demon, it was very animated and very terrifying looking.
Babette. And
Yeah.
I often wonder too, because like Wayne said, we do hear of all the descriptions of, some of the Bigfoot having the look of Down syndrome. Maybe they are inbreeding. I mean, that could
I've
be.
heard that, and that could be, breeding within their clan. Another
Mhm.
theory is this: maybe it was bred in its clan or in its family, and they realized that this inbreeding presented a problem child, right? Because think about it. What we do know about Sasquatch or Bigfoot, they are a socialized group, right? They travel together. They very rarely are out. They might go out on a solo mission, maybe looking for food or hunting, but there's always one around.
Right.
But somebody was telling me that this one could have been when it was just kicked out of its family.
Like a
Hey,
rogue.
you're a rogue. You're a rogue animal or person or whatever verbiage you want to attach to it. And here, get lost. And people suggested, highly suggested, maybe that's what I came across. Just a real pissed off clan looking to strike up with another clan or something.
Well,
And
and
people
I thought about the Janice Carter story. How Blackie was kicked out and he was just awful. I thought about that too.
I thought of
no,
that too. Yeah.
again, I'm not familiar with that story, but great points again. Anytime hell, even as us as human beings, right? A lot of families were one individuals. You have maybe the black sheep of the family, right? And they're ostracized and they're made fun of. They're kicked out of their family, which is a sad situation all around, right? We all know people or families like this probably, and that person ends up just being the 9 times out of 10, they are kind of like the weird one, you know.
Yeah.
But then again, shame on the family for kicking them out. So without helping somebody, and it's another deep subject, but the theory of this thing being a rogue or being kicked out of the clan is one that I'm probably leaning towards the most because today, everybody listening to you guys, it wasn't a demon. I mean, it manifested or metamorphosized into something. It wasn't a demon now, in my opinion. I thought it was back then, but that's what I always describe it looking like, a demon. And again, when I present these two renditions from Sibylla here in the next couple months, you guys will get what I'm talking about. And everybody listening has heard the story. And yes, but still, because I'm looking in my mind, I'm thinking in my mind right now, you guys, and it was just like a night and day transformation. It was very prominent, which is the thing that really is still the mystery for me, you know.
Well, I can't wait to see that image, man, because you do a really good job of describing it, and I've got this picture in my head of what you saw, and now I can't wait to see that picture. And I've heard of her. I've heard she does amazing work.
She does. She attends a lot of the conferences. I met her 2 years ago. Great down to earth woman. I mean, yeah, and she's got like hundreds of renditions. She was on my show before with her renditions, and you know what's great about her? She knows these are people like myself that she does the rendition for them. And when she was on my show, do you know? And she's probably not listening to this show, but she actually remembers the story behind each rendition because she's really that earnest. Like she knows she's just not doing the rendition, and she does it for free. She's not doing the rendition just to promote herself. She really, I mean, this rendition I've done with hers, we've logged about 6 hours already together because she wants it to be perfect.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Rob, like I was saying, we're coming up on the end,
Yeah,
buddy.
I hear it. It goes by fast, don't it?
Yeah, take a few minutes, tell everybody where they can find you, and just all
Oh,
that
well,
good stuff.
thanks. I appreciate. Yeah, well, my YouTube channel, pretty basic, you guys. Bigfoot Mission Rabbits on YouTube. I have 2 shows per week. I do a show Tuesday night, which is today at 9 in the East, and a Thursday afternoon at 1 in the East. So those are 2 live shows. And on the weekends, I put out a subscriber or emailer encounter story in video format. And of course, I'm on all the social media. In fact, all my social media is in the about page of my Bigfoot Mission Rap channel. And also, there's a link in there because I just released my first book in August 1st or July 31st. It's called Bigfoot Michigan Represents True Cryptid Encounters. Book one. Here's the book here. So this is on Amazon. So the book's on Amazon. You can the link is on my YouTube channel, or if you just type in Bigfoot Michigan Rob on Amazon, I think it pulls up if you're interested. It's got 45 encounter stories from people that I worked with to kind of shape them up to put in book form with their permission, of course. So that's pretty cool. I'm really happy with that. And a lot of the people in the book, real briefly, are people that really wanted their information out because just like me, did not want to be judged. Did not want to be judged, ridiculed, made fun of. So everything I do on the book is in anonymity. And of course, my shows, I have researchers on every Tuesday and Thursday and or experiencers. So it doesn't really matter. And we talk about Bigfoot, Dogman, ghosts, the paranormal, UFOs, aliens. So it's not just we do more than one subject or one genre. If it's weird, I cover it because I do support the weird. I'm proud of being weird. Thank you very much, and
Yes, sir.
let the weirdness fly. Right?
That's right. We like being weird.
It's right. And there's
You
nothing
support-
wrong with it. The
Nope.
biggest thing that I can always try to tell people is, you don't be ashamed. My channel anyway was a safe place to go, and and I'm not unique to that. There's many people that do a great job for other people too. But I just remember that I had no help or nowhere to go for 6 months, was lost and alone. And that's why I do what I do today, you guys.
Awesome. All right, buddy. I appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out. Good stuff. I mean, you just shared the one encounter, but it was worth it. It was worth
Yeah.
it. That was awesome, man.
Yeah. I get that's the backbone to what I do today. And, again, people told me, yeah, share it when you can. So I continue to do so.
Well, I do want to get you back to share some of your research and stuff. But we'll talk about that off air. And again, guys, 30 minutes or so from now, head over and check him out. And thanks again, buddy.
Yep.
You go get ready for your show, okay?
Yeah, I will. I'll
Thank
talk to you guys shortly. Thank you guys. Thanks everybody in chat and listening. All right.
Bye bye. All right, guys. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let me change this here. All right. Yeah. A reminder in 25 minutes or so, y'all go check out Miss Tiffany will be in there. And again, I've got the link to jump on if the opportunity presents itself. I'll jump on with the guys, but it's not looking good. So, Tiffany, this will be your
you.
first ever live interview, right?
Well, no, I'd actually, well, me and Zach did one with you,
They wasn't
and then
live.
we weren't live though. No, you're right. And then me and Zach and Brian, but I don't think we were live then either. No, so you're right. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Go
Look at me,
enjoy yourself.
big girl
First
thing.
first of many, I have a feeling you are breaking into the cryptid and paranormal world.
Well, and I am just flipping excited about it. I love this.
Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Again, let me push it, hammer it home one more time. Please become a member of the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. There is one complaint that most YouTube creators have had, and it can be a little bit difficult to become a member from your phone or from your device. If you do it from the computer, it's easy. I did it, and it's just like one step. Put in your credit card information, you're done. But if you're doing it from your phone, there's a couple of steps. You can't do it from the app. You have to go to the actual website to do it. So,
But then
guys, help us.
then it's just 3 steps. Once you get onto the actual website from like Safari or Chrome, it's just 3 steps. And if you go to my Facebook page, which is public, by the way, I put those steps on there.
Okay. All right. Let's get out of here. Say your goodbyes, Tiffany.
Bye. Come back and see me very soon on Rob's show. I'll be there.
And if you don't see me there, we will see you again this coming Thursday at 2:00. Guys, y'all be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.